introduce myself.
So your first time was on stage was here at Hashtag?
Yeah, it was here at Hashtag. Yeah, and then Hannah told me, she was like, hey, we're going to be doing an open mic the next day if you want to come back to see how it really is orchestrated. I'm like, yeah, I've never seen that before, so that's going to be cool. I show up the next day, and that's the first time I met Xavier. I don't think you was here that night. You and Tyson, I don't think you guys were here that night. And I know Boso wasn't here, but I do remember a few people. Ty Erskine was here that night. Caitlin Minosky was here. Audrey showed back up. And I'm watching how Hannah's hosting and whatnot. Oh, CN was here too. And there was another dude named Garrett. I'm sure you remember
Garrett,
him.
okay, yep.
Yeah, he never showed back up after this.
No, I wouldn't.
It was like,
I was there that night.
you was there that night? Okay. Yeah. It was the dude, he was like, what, 15th or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he bombed for like 5 minutes talking shit about every comic that went up before him.
Yeah.
And when I say talking shit, he was trying to roast everybody and then tell jokes, which weren't jokes.
When he first went up, he was like, what I saw tonight was terrible. I'm gonna show you guys how comedy's done.
Yeah.
And then he just tried to do jokes and just bomb.
Yeah.
And he started talking shit about all the other comics.
It was so bad, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so bad. Hannah, she went up and she cut the speaker off. She said, "You're done." He was like, "No, I'm done when I say I'm done." She said, "No, you're done." And then he started talking about how to sell Percocets and shit.
Yeah.
And then he got pissed off and he put the mic back or dropped it or whatever, and then he stormed out.
That's what I always do when I'm bombing.
Yeah.
You guys want to know how to get Percocets?
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a couple after this set.
And then after that happened, Xavier, you already did a set.
Yeah, I did.
Hannah made you go back up to reset the room, and you roasted this dude for like 7 minutes straight.
Let's talk about this goofy ass dude. Like, how fuck was that?
Was he new?
Huh?
Was he a new comic?
He might as well have
He
been,
wasn't
bro.
even a comic.
He wasn't a comic.
He just went up.
Like an OSU student or something.
I have no idea what y'all talking about.
Yeah, bro. It was wild because everybody's in shock. Like, why would somebody talk shit about the room and not be funny?
Yeah.
Like, that was crazy. And I had already went up, and I was talking to Joshua in the back.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, you should go up there and roast him. I was like, I have already been up there. I don't think Hannah want me to go back up there. And then he told Hannah, she's like, oh, yeah, please go up there and do that, please. We need something. So I just went up there talking shit about him. I was like, how can you come up here and talk shit and you're not good?
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to be better than all of us. You were the worst one tonight.
Yeah.
Like, the fact is proven the pudding. This man stormed out afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you should have stuck around. We had things for you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the things we wanted to say. But yeah, that was a wild night. So that was one of your first.
That was my introduction
Oh.
to the comedy scene.
Oh, that's it.
And I was looking, I'm like, this shit is wild, bro.
Yeah.
And I just started introducing myself to everybody. And then I was like, damn, I think I want to stick around for this. Just to see what else could happen.
This was a random night. What's a normal night?
Right, that's what I wanted to see. I was like, this is an open mic. Yeah.
I'm depressed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to know where the Percocets are.
Yeah, but that was my intro to getting into this comedy scene and starting my comedy journey.
I don't know. Well, I mean, I talk about it in my sets a lot, by going through a divorce and like being a full-time dad and working and all that stuff. So I was just trying to figure out, even when I was married, I was trying to figure out something to do with myself. So I started writing jokes down, but I wasn't like really serious about getting up on stage and actually doing it.
Yeah.
And I had a podcast up at iHeart. Right? So I had access to so many different like celebrities and stuff that would come in, and we just sit down, having conversations with them.
Right.
One particularly, Tony Rock.
I remember
Tony Rock came through to a podcast. He actually did a few of my podcasts, like 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And I know him through my business partner. They forged a relationship. So whenever Tony come, he just drops in on us.
Yeah.
The last time Tony was here last year, and it was Labor Day weekend, Tony wanted to shoot a TV show.
Oh shit.
With us. So I was like, all right. I mean, I ain't never got in front of no camera or did nothing. He said, yeah, don't worry about it. Just have fun, be yourself.
Yeah.
We did that. After we wrapped that show up, we went to the Funny Bone for a show at the Funny Bone.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, he took us out to eat like Cheesecake Factory or something. We were just sitting down, chilling, like just talking about just everything. When he left,
Yeah.
right before he left, he said, you need to get on stage.
Yeah, I remember you.
So I
told me
was
that.
like, I on stage, what? He's like comedy. He was like, you need to get on stage. Like, you have to get on stage and figure it out.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, all right. And we wasn't taking that shit serious.
Yeah.
This was in May.
Okay.
I would look up Mark Faison.
Okay.
Okay.
He would send me the list of all the different mics to go to.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go to the mics, but when I got to the door or pulled up, I'm like, man, I ain't doing this shit. I'd go back home.
Yeah.
That was for 5 months.
Oh shit.
In October of last year, that's when I said, you know what, a comedic, I won't say a GOAT, but somebody that's respected in the game. His brother's a GOAT. He knows comedy. He's telling me to get on stage, just do it.
Yeah.
I went up and I don't even remember who's the first mic I did. I don't know if it was Tony Wallace's mic at Crescent Lounge.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a Halloween party, or if it was Sister Lou
Mm-hmm.
at the Attic. I don't remember whose it was, but I went and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just roll the dice and see what happens.
Yeah.
Went up, and now actually the first person I went up before me that I told him this already, but Yale Reams was the first person I had ever seen go up, and was like, he was so fucking good. I almost didn't want to do it. I'm not about to do this shit. If this is what local talent is, I'm like, hell no, I'm not doing this shit. But I ended up doing it anyway, because and I just have not been able to stop doing it since.
Right.
And I mean, you came a little bit later. I went to do a mic with Xavier, was like my third mic at Fours.
Was it Four Summit?
Or fives. Or so.
Not four, well, fives. It was fives.
Okay.
It was fives. Yeah, so I went and did fives, and then after that, I just got ingratiated with the whole scene. And literally the first person that I actually got like bonded with or talked to more about like comedy and all that stuff was probably Tyson. Like I was like, okay, I like Tyson's like temperament. He ain't like extra. So me and him, I actually like probably the first person I even gave my phone number to, where I actually talked to him about other stuff outside of comedy.
Right.
But then you came along, and then it's just like,
But
I just haven't been able to do it. Stop. This nigga crazy.
I can't with this dude.
Yeah, so I've been enjoying it. It's like,
Hell yeah, bro.
it's just been a way to be able to just talk about shit that I can't really talk about with nobody else. So I just get up there and talk to everybody about it and just try to figure it out. But
it's something about talking about that shit that you can't talk about, like family members or other people in general, and you just say to the audience, and you turn it into something funny.
Yeah.
And then you start connecting with the people in the audience, because it was like, yo, I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't know how to put it into words. And the fact that you was able to make a joke out of it is crazy. You know, that's what keeps me driving to want to continue to do comedy.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's like the ultimate art form.
It's the people that you reach and that you help. I completely agree, because I get it all the time after doing my divorce bits or my kids, like bits about my kids, where people, I want to say that, but I don't know how to. Or I can see that better now. I can understand. I can know what I'm feeling now because of how you put that in there, and that's always the dopest part.
Right.
And I actually tell Tyson. Me and Tyson talk about this about in this first year.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting none of this shit.
Oh, 100%.
I was going to open. I thought I would still be doing open mics like that right now, just getting used to it. I wasn't expecting to be getting paid or getting thrown in shows or none of that shit in this first year. So everything that's happening, I just try to like take it and understand, like, it's a privilege to be able to do this and for other people to believe in you, to put you in positions to make some type of money or make some type of name for yourself. It's a privilege. So I always try to take it as serious as I can, no matter who in this crowd or what stage I'm on.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, Tyson, how did you get into comedy, buddy?
Xavier was there.
I was there.
I wanted to do comedy for a really long time.
Yeah.
Even when I lived in Los Angeles, when I was like 21, 22, I wanted to do comedy. I was making music for a long time. And when I would do open mics or shows with music, I would try to be funny between songs or before I'd go up and, you know, whatever. And then one day I was like, I'm going to do comedy. I'm going to just do comedy. And it was like 2022. And there was a open mic here in Columbus called The Shrunken Head that Xavier hosted on Fridays. And I went up twice. And the very first time I went up, it was like, I didn't go up till like, the mic started at 8, 9? Yeah. And I didn't go up till like 1 a.m. So there was only like 3 or 4 people. And they were just being very encouraging. And it was very nice. And they were just like, oh yeah, it's just, and then there was laughing, but I knew it wasn't good, but they were just like, it was, it was nice. And so a week later or 2 weeks later, I went back, and Xavier put me up earlier, and it was like 40 people in there. Yeah. And it was bad. I bombed so bad for like 5 minutes straight. It was horrible. And it was just like nobody laughed, nobody chuckled. I could hear people sweating. It was really bad. I was sweating. My fingers was hot. It was bad. Yeah. And then I was like, I'm not doing that again. And that's how I didn't do comedy again for like a year and a half, for like 2 years.
Batman, bro.
Yeah, I was like, out of there. That shit was bad.
Can you bomb at an open mic? Yes.
Yeah.
You can. I mean, I feel like if you're.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're just trying to work something out.
That's what I'm saying. Like most of the time, it's just practice. So you're not.
But if you're going, but I was working on these jokes for 3.5 weeks. Like, you know what I mean? I thought like I went with the intentions of like I'm about to kill. Like I'm about to do well. I'm about to like, because I didn't, especially when you first start. I don't know the difference between a show and an open mic, really. It's just there's 40 people here. I don't know who the other comedians are. I just know I'm going on stage to like do comedy for 5 minutes in front of a full room. Yeah. And it didn't go well. It didn't go how I wanted it to go. So I felt like I bombed. And it was enough for me to not do it again for like 2 years. And it would be that same thing that where you would like pull up and then go. I would like go to mics and just watch. Yeah. For like a month.
I used to see you come in and like sit in the room, in the back of the room, and I'm like, who the fuck is this nigga? Like, and it's like watching it so attentively. Like everybody say he's not moving. Yeah. He wasn't going up. So I'm like, dude, is this nigga just like a fan of this shit?
They were taking notes. Oh yeah.
I was studying. Because it wasn't just like people that do well, it's also when people that don't do well.
You wouldn't move. Like you would literally be sitting there the whole time watching who everybody go up. I'm like, this nigga must be stealing jokes. So he's doing something.
I fucking like
what a funny thing to bring up. Gotta be
so like
I tell that story too.
I took one of Xavier's jokes.
Yeah, keep that story going.
When I was trying to get, but I ain't do the joke to nobody. It was in my bedroom. Nigga,
it wasn't at a show.
It was in my bedroom. It was in my bed. But at the time, I was embarrassed to say I was in my bedroom, so I was just like, I said it was at a show. Because before I came out, when I would come and just watch, I built a fake stand-up thing in my room with like a brick wall and like. And then when I was I would record myself doing jokes, and I came up with this really good joke.
No, but that happens
where you stereotype. And like the setup though was different, but the punchline was exactly the same. And then when I did it, I was just like,
where did I hear this?
Where have I heard?
I was like, that's not my joke. I don't think. Yeah. But it was just in my bedroom. But I did post it on the internet. And I added a laugh track to it.
That's crazy.
So people thought it was very funny. It was a very successful joke that I came up with.
Yeah.
And then I saw Xavier at one of the mics, and I was like, and it like clicked for me that 2 years prior he did that joke at Shrunken Head. Yeah. And it just didn't like click for me, so I stole his joke. I opened up a comedy stealing a joke.
That's why I try not to watch people. Because you just never know. Like sometimes in your creative process, right? Yeah. You think it's yours, or you think that you came up with it, but in the back of your mind, it's something you did. But then come to find out, you took a whole nigga's bit.
Yeah. That's what happened. But I was in my bedroom practicing, and I would.
Do you still tell it?
No. You should. No, I should bring it back. It was a good.
Run it.
It was a good joke. It was a good joke that I came up with.
Before we do the show, that's the joke you're gonna open with.
That's what I'm gonna open with.
The original joke.
It's a great joke.
This is my introduction.
It is a good joke. But I was doing it in my bedroom, and then I would come to mics and I would just watch.
Yeah.
and like study or whatever.
Yeah.
And I went to an actual big comedy show.
Yeah.
It was Ali Sadiq. It was like the first
Okay.
person that I saw
Yeah.
live. And then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So it was like New Year's. It was New Year's, and we were at Summit, and like there was only 4 of us there or something. So he was just like, let's get on stage and just tell a story, each one of us. So we went on there and we just told a story each. And then I went over to the Attic because they were having like a New Year's party and they were gonna do like comedy and whatnot. And I forget who I saw before me, but a couple people were doing well. And I was like, I'm not doing this. So I went to Nikki Winkleman, who was hosting it, and I lied to her.
I did that show.
Yeah.
You did leave.
I lied to her.
Yeah.
I was like, my cousin works at the hospital,
Yeah.
and he just got off, and he needs a ride home.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case at all.
Yeah.
My cousin is unemployed.
You could have told Nikki anything,
I forgot
bro.
about Yeah.
I don't know if I told her that or I told her that was another excuse I used to lie to somebody else. I told her that I worked at the hospital in this story, and I was like, they just called me in, and it's very
No, but
busy. And I gotta go. I lied to her so I could get out of it.
No, but that night,
I was very nervous.
that night, what Neff asked me to go up.
Yeah,
He said,
Neff asked me too.
But but the thing, it was a little bit more like I could see why he did leave because it was a little bit more unsettling. This was like, at this point, this is my like 2nd month in comedy. So, but everybody that I had seen that had shows or residencies at the Attic, like Jason Bain, Henry, everybody was up there.
with a lineup like that. Yeah.
So I was just up there
there.
like, what the fuck? Like they about to put me up here with all these people that's
All
been
these
doing
killers.
this. Like, yeah, these dudes is good. Like
Yeah.
I had the nerve to be like, tell Nikki like, hey, my kid.
I told her I worked at the hospital.
Some shit.
Yeah.
I was going to drag.
What is with y'all at hospital shit?
Bro, it was the most extreme shit I was
Tyson's the
trying to
doctor.
think
He's
of.
gonna operate on my kid later.
You need something crazy.
Yeah.
I was like,
Instead of just saying like, I don't want to do this shit. I'm going
The
home.
truth sounds too real.
Right. Yeah.
We need something more believable.
Yeah, cause I couldn't just be like a bitch.
I was about to say, you don't want to sound like a bitch, bro.
It's like, I have a job.
Right?
Bro, I'm telling
I'm
you.
an employed person. I'm doing
through
well.
it went through my head like at least 5 or 6 times. I was about to leave too when
That's
I seen
crazy.
and I seen the lineup on the one. I'm like, oh no, I'm good.
Yeah, I got out of there.
Yeah.
I got out of there. I couldn't do
I
it.
went up, but it was still
Intimidation is a mug, bro. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I got out of there, man. And yeah, that was a rough night. I was busy at the ER, and I had to get out of there. And then I forget where after that. I forget where I started. I just remember I did a mic at some point. I think it was probably 5 or something, and then from there I just did like every mic, every day for the first couple of months, and then I got on my first show in March, and then it's just been, which I didn't expect either.
Yeah.
I thought the first year I just told myself I was gonna do. I told myself I would do 1 open mic a week for the year just to prove that I can be consistent. And then it turned into a whole different thing. You know what I mean?
I did not get
it's
into
been dope.
this everything that's happening right now. It's just like even this show, like everything that's it's crazy.
Yeah, I originally wanted to do this show because unfortunately Jules can't be a part of it.
Yeah.
But we started at around the same time. You know, we've been killing it earlier than what we thought we would be. Like you said, you never expected to be getting paid
At all.
so early in the game. My first time getting paid, I was 3 weeks in.
Yeah.
You know, Terrence hit me up to ask me if I wanted to do the Black Friday show. And I was like, dude, I wasn't expected to do a show for like another year.
Yeah.
You know, to get paid for comedy. Like, and when he texted me, he's like, you know, I think you're funny. If I didn't think you were funny, I wouldn't have asked you. I was like, that's real. So I was like, okay, let me just suck it up and actually try this. Because it was just, he told me it was supposed to be 5 minutes. This dude left me on stage for 10 minutes. I did not have 10 minutes of material. So I had to just start coming up with stuff. It was the first time I ever did 10 minutes 3 weeks in. And I didn't bomb. I had a good set.
Yeah.
But it really put a lot into perspective of what I wanted out of comedy and how far I wanted to take it and how I was willing to push myself, even if I didn't have, you know, the material or what it took at that time. And it taught me a lesson. And it also helped me give myself confidence too. Because I was never a person with confidence.
All right. What was that question?
Has there been anything that's deterred you guys in the comedy scene where at one point you're like, I don't know if I can keep doing this? Have you ever had that moment?
My first bombing.
Yeah.
Johnny Collins. This nigga asked me to if I wanted to come do some time at Club 20. I had never been to Club 20.
Yeah.
For anybody that don't know, Club 20 is a gay bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which I don't give a fuck about that type of shit. But Johnny, he asked me to come up. So I'm like, yeah, I come up there.
Yeah.
Didn't nobody want to go first? Like, who want to go first? I'm like, fuck it, I'll go first. This is like month 3 for me in comedy. This is like January.
Yeah.
So while I'm in there, I don't know what made me think like, hey man, go to the car and get some gum or something. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it was weird. I was like, I don't know why I was trying to like smell better in there or something. I don't know what the fuck was going on. I was confused. So anyway, I go outside. Right. So I go outside and I go to my car to get some gum out my car, and I press my key fob and my car don't go off. I'm like, fuck, my key fob is fucked up. So I look over, my car isn't there.
Oh shit.
Car's gone. So I'm like, and I drive a Kia.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I know
these
exactly.
niggas got me. They got me for my Kia. Like, that's the first thing I thought.
Yeah.
And I didn't even like, I was like thinking about that, but I was like, fuck, I just told Johnny about it. So I went back in to do this, I didn't even tell Johnny none of this. I was like, I'm just gonna go back and do this show. So I went back in there.
Yeah.
And I couldn't think about what I wanted to do because I'm thinking about my car. So my first response was, think of the last set that you did that worked.
Okay.
It was at Fives.
Yeah.
And at Fives, my mom popped in on the show. I didn't know she was coming.
Oh,
I was like,
shit.
how do I make this experience uncomfortable for her?
Yeah.
So I started telling a heap of rape jokes.
Oh
It was
my
working in the
God.
room. In Fives, it was working.
Yeah.
So I was like, I do that at Club 20, at the gay bar. When I tell you, this was the longest 5 minutes of my life.
Yeah.
These gay jokes, not gay jokes, the rape jokes was coming like this, and I stood in it too. I was like, I didn't have the presence of mind to say like I do now, like this ain't working, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, nope, double down.
Standing on business for this one, brother.
I told at least 12 of them, 12 of these mugs. I even got
5 minutes?
5 minutes. I even got to like accusing Mary, like Jesus' mom of being. It was like a lot.
That's crazy.
But I heard somebody in the crowd was like, "Boo! This is not funny." I was like, "All right," and I just kept going. No, I doubled down more. I got off the stage and I didn't even think about it. I got off stage and my first thing was, now I need to go find my fucking car.
Yeah.
Before I went out to look for my car, I went to the bathroom, and when I went in the bathroom,
Yeah.
when they trying to be something, it's trans woman. It means they're turned into a woman, right? Okay, you know.
This
Is that what that means?
This is your
All right, so
I mean,
What do you think, Instagram?
I don't even know what the fuck. But I was in there in the urinal, and the motherfucker came in the urinal, a woman or a trans, and peed in the urinal next to me. Like literally was standing next to me with a wig and titties and everything. I'm like,
it might have, you know, people cross dress too. Like men dress
I
as
mean, that's what I'm
women
saying.
as well.
I haven't been back to Club 20 since. But yeah, like after that bomb, and then I come to find out my car didn't get stolen.
Yeah.
It got towed because I was parked in the parking lot I wasn't supposed to be parked in. The worst fucking night. And after that night, I was like, this is way too much shit going wrong. I'm like, fuck this comedy shit.
I like when you started out, you just said this nigga Johnny Collins, like he did it. Like,
It's definitely
Right, so you're talking about your first bomb, Johnny Collins. I'm like, oh yeah, that's most people. The first person they see bomb is Johnny Collins.
It was one of the first. When I first saw Johnny, he was telling someone. It was like at a workshop,
yeah.
and he was doing some Wakanda joke. It was like
Oh,
the summer
bro, that was
workshop.
so
that's
yeah.
crazy.
And I was like, who is this motherfucker? It's terrible. This motherfucker's not funny at all. This guy sucks. And I would sit in the back and watch the workshops and everything. He was like, yeah, what about Wakanda when they was on the, I was like, this dude sucks.
Yeah.
And then I saw Johnny though at
at a show.
No, I went to the award show and everything.
Oh yeah,
Columbus
the
award show.
Yeah, last year.
The comedy
He won
awards.
something.
I don't know if he probably didn't win
presented
anything. You know what I mean?
something,
And he did a
Presented
set up
Yeah.
top too.
You did say okay.
He did a set and it was funny and it was good. I was like,
Okay.
okay, he is funny. He just need to stay away from that nigga material. That wasn't a good look for him.
Yeah.
Nope, that night almost made me quit comedy. I was like,
Yeah.
there's too much dumb shit going on. Went wrong. Like,
Yeah.
it's too much shit.
Damn, that's
Yeah, I
crazy.
quit. I quit for 2 years. I quit for 2 years after Summit.
Yeah.
After I'm not Summit, Shrunken
Head.
Head.
Yeah.
After I bombed the Shrunken Head, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think this is for me.
Yeah, but then after you bomb, you go to another mic. Like, let me get this shit off of me, this stench off of me. Like, do you do that? Now, yeah.
Not then.
Yeah, not then. No.
I mean, I went to another mic 2 years later, but I built the thing in my room first because it was just I was trying to get back into it. I wanted to do it, but I was just
Yeah.
that experience.
That bombing is terrible. That's a terrible feeling. Well, not really that bad, but it is like a feeling where it's like.
I think if you bomb at a show or something now, it's worse.
Yeah, I don't. That's why I said at an open mic, I don't
Yeah.
look at it as bombing. So I'm always comfortable with those type of places. But
It kind of depends on how you define bombing, right? Because when I hear people say you can't bomb, it's like, well, how are you defining bombing? For me, I always keep it simple. I say it at the workshops, like bombing to me is like when you're trying to hit with a joke idea or a story and it completely misses.
Yeah.
So by that
That's what it
definition,
is.
everybody bombs, right?
Yeah. Right.
It's just you trying to collect data. That's what Mark Norman says. You're just collecting data for a future set to be better. So you didn't completely lose the night. You can get some out of that bad set, that not as good set as you would have hoped it would be said, and still make better jokes and sculpt something to like completion. But bombing's a part of that process. Like
Yeah.
that's like negating when you miss. Like when baseball players are like in the middle of like a game, if they miss the ball when it goes over home plate, they don't like, oh, that's just practice. I didn't bomb. Like they don't think about it like that. They're like, all right, I just missed the ball,
Right.
and that's
Yeah.
okay to miss in comedy. It happens all the time.
Right.
But it is also a miserable feeling. I agree. Like, no one
is
enjoys
definitely,
bombing.
When you think something's about to be good and it's just not.
It's crickets.
I mean, it's like Tyson was saying earlier. It's you learn from what works, but you also learn from what doesn't work.
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
true.
from
Yeah.
other people and yourself. You know, and that's what
that's why
growth and change is, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I watch everybody. That's why I watch
Same.
everybody. I don't care if I'm at a show or even if I'm back here during a show, I'll listen. I'm like listening very intently. Because even if a person's not doing well, I want to know why they're not doing well. Like
Exactly.
what missed,
Yeah.
what didn't they do,
Yeah.
and then it helps me watching people do comedy. For me, I think makes me better. It helps me more than actually getting on stage and doing it myself at a
Right.
mic. Because I can apply things that I've seen or you know what I mean.
I love watching comics go up before me. Now I'm not really like that afterwards. After I go up, but the main reason why I do watch the comics before me that go up is to know what material I'm going to do. I never go up to a venue with material. I don't know what I'm going to do until I get there. And when I see the other comics, if they're bombing or what they're winning the crowd with, that lets me know what bag I'm gonna go into. But
Right.
You should go an opposite way too though, because there'll be times where maybe you open a show.
yeah,
You don't know what works
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
room, and you got to find it. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
got to find it. That's why the opener is like it's a tougher.
that host.
It's a tougher spot
Yeah.
because it's like you don't know what works yet. You don't know
Right.
what kind of crowd
Right.
it is. You know what I
Right.
mean? You just hope to have a good set, but you
I
might
mean,
tell
even,
you might
like-
tell a rape joke in Club 20. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes open and it's tough.
Yeah,
Maybe one day you'll be like Johnny and you'll get to bomb there every other week.
Yeah. That's crazy.
But knowing the comedy, knowing the
tracks
comedy
off camera.
knowing that
your camera.
Right.
being here and being part of the comedy scene, I know at least 3 comics that night were going to tell rape jokes.
Yeah.
And then they saw you and it was like, probably not.
Yeah.
You're not in here.
Fucking scratch that off the list. Like, nope, not tonight, man.
Now I want to hear Steven's answers to this question about if anything's detoured him since he's got into comedy. But I want to hear Tyson talk about how it was an uphill battle to get him on stage and be up there for more than 3 minutes at a time before he eventually didn't want to ever get off stage.
No, yeah.
Because there was a whole period there where we was keeping it. I stopped giving you the light, bro.
Yeah, I remember
I literally
that.
stopped giving you the light. I was like, he can do more than the 3 minutes he's doing right now. Most of it was crowd work.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, stay up there. And then when you start realizing I stopped giving you the light, you're like, I'm done. Xavier, I know you're not giving me the light, so I'm just gonna leave. I was like, tell that one joke. I eventually knew the jokes you were working. I was like, tell that one joke. You're like, nobody wanted you to get off stage.
Yeah.
You just were like, I just want to do my time and leave. Most of the time you was dressed like you was homeless, but that wasn't even the point. The point was like, I knew you could do more than what you were doing, and so watching you eventually just stay up there and then work it out. You came up with some of your best, I guess, jokes you would use just in case you were bombing or just in case things didn't go well for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those times where I'd be on stage for like 15 minutes, 17 minutes with no material.
Yeah.
It was just like a lot of stuff that I would say in those things I use as tags now for jokes and stories, which was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was some people that I knew I just wanted to do 5 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever and then get off. But it was some people that like you and Johnny Collins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was like he could do more because Johnny gave me my first 20-minute set on a show. Was the book show, and I didn't even have like 20 minutes of material yet, like that I liked. So it was just that was 2 months or 2 or 3 months. Yeah, 2 months into me doing comedy.
Yeah.
I had a 20-minute set, and all I was hearing at the time was like, "Oh, it takes a year to get 5 minutes. It takes a year to get 5 good minutes," and I was like, "It'd take you a year to get 5 minutes." I mean.
Where are you doing
You
comedy?
need to work harder. You need to write more or something. Because that's like to get a good 5 minutes. I don't think it takes a year, but I did my first 20 minutes in the first, so it was like, but at first, I was, I'd be nervous up there. That's why I started sitting down when I would do comedy. It's because it like calmed me. It made me more comfortable up there. That's what I used to do when I would make music is I would rap sitting down. So it was just like being on stage. That's what I started doing. And then so it made the 15-minute sets, the 20-minute sets, and now I'm getting ready to do 30 minutes. But I've done 27 minutes. It's the longest I've done a few months ago. But yeah, it was definitely a little uphill battle, but it was we're here now.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, I want to touch on the growth of the scene as far as like being a brand new comic in the scene because we didn't have that back in the day.
Yeah.
But I don't want to keep prolonging his answer to the original question.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, let's get Steven's answer. Then I will touch on that because there's an interesting aspect to all y'all's growth I want to highlight.
So something that probably would have deterred me from continuing to do comedy. It's kind of hard because I feel like I haven't hit that point. Because I love this shit so much, is really allowed me to open up and be myself, in a way that I didn't think I could be myself. But I think when I first did Summit, your mic, and I went up with this big ass notepad, and I just a bunch of shit I wrote down that I thought was funny, I started telling a joke about how I don't like how when people don't wash their hands and shit, and shit just wasn't hitting. And then, I think I did like maybe 5 minutes or something like that, Didn't get any laughs. And I was like, maybe this shit just ain't it. And before I walked off the stage, this nigga Miko.
I remember this night.
Yeah, before I even, my time was done. Like, I'm getting ready to walk off stage. It's like my, second time going up. This dude's like, hey, why don't you tell one of them jokes in that big ass book you got? And I'm like, nigga, where have you been? Like, I just did, dude. Like, who the fuck are you, hood hero? Like, what the? This nigga Miko heckled me at the end of my set, bro. And I'm looking like, this is some bullshit. Like, what the fuck I do to this nigga? Like, and I walked off stage, man. I just chilled out. I didn't take it personal or anything like that. I was like, that's fucking wild. And I talked to Xavier after the mic, and I told him, I'm like, man, like, I don't get the joke writing process. I'm like, I feel like I wouldn't even know how to write a joke, and you just gave me some of the best advice. You're like, first of all, a joke is never done. If it didn't work now, it might work later. You're just not ready for that joke yet. Don't even throw it away. But if you come up with jokes later on, that's fine too. Just keep pushing because this shit is like a marathon. You're not going to, be an overnight sensation. It's just not going to happen in this, in this field that we're doing. And I'm like, damn, okay. And I took that advice to heart. Every time I write a joke, if it's not hitting, I'm like, okay, and I try and it never hits, I'm like, okay, I'm just not ready for the joke yet. You know, that's probably like the closest I got to being like, maybe this shit ain't for me. And then after that, I think it was what flipped my switch was when I went to Cafe Bourbon for the first time. And I was sitting in there, and you know Cafe Bourbon, it's just a room full of comics. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. It's a cool room because it's like our like meeting, like the meeting of comics. You go in there, you work new stuff out, and if it hits in that room, you know you got something, potentially. You know, us comics, we're pretty fucked up in the head anyway. But if it hits, it hits. And that's when I came up with that Spectrum joke. I was just sitting there, and like Tyson said, you sit around comedy for so long, it kind of inspires you to get your brain working in that mode. At least that's what it does for me. And after I did that and I started coming up with other stuff and I figured out how my brain works, I'm like, oh, okay, I do love doing this shit. That's what makes me want to keep going. Like it helps me be more creative and have more ideas that I never thought I would have had and connect with people that I never would have thought I would have connected with. So
I write every day, like every single day. No matter what it is, it don't even got to be a joke. It's just whatever I'm feeling at that moment, I'll write it down and then I come back to it. But it could be a week later, I can find something funny about it, like some type of premise about it, and I just sit it there.
Yeah.
I come back to old jokes or jokes I haven't even been on stage with before, but I just come back to them and just keep adding stuff until it's funny. Like, and it's literally no matter what we do, say, go through, conversations we have with people, there's something there in everyday life. But yeah.
Yeah, 3 minutes of tape left.
Okay.
Say something deep. Say something deep.
Say something
guys,
deep?
What is something, as you have now been in the comedy scene for how many years, that you would give either to your younger self or somebody who wants to get into the comedy scene?
We'll let Xavier start with this
one.
Oh, okay.
That's like my show.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Give something to somebody?
So either advice to your younger self whenever you're first getting into the comedy scene, or to somebody who's just getting into it beginning now. What advice would you give them that you've learned along the way?
Yeah, just pay attention. You know, pay attention. There's you know, even when you're not on stage, there's growth with every single, you know, comedy moment. If it's with anything you're doing, I made music for a long time. I did stage acting stuff. I did poetry for a while, and it's just like I was in a chess club, and it's just watching, just paying attention. Everybody wants to be the person that's teaching people things and giving advice, but not many people want to just sit back and just watch and learn things, and that's the, just shutting the fuck up would take you a very, very long way. I think that's what I would say.
Okay.
Take my community, like find a community inside of this community, of the community, because it's a lot of it's a lot of local beefs and politics and shit that go on that you have no idea what the fuck's going on. You get with people with like-minded individuals, you keep those people around you closer, because then people don't talk about, like, it's hard getting support doing this, like from your friends and from your family. Like, I no longer look to them people for support because I have a community here of comics who are on the same wavelength. So yeah.
Okay. And last for me, it's a marathon, and you create your own finish line. Like, if you decide to quit, that's up to you. No one's gonna make you quit doing this. So just keep putting in the work, show up to the open mics and shows if you really love doing this.
Learn how to solve a Rubik's Cube. It'll make you a better problem solver. I don't know. I will say this real quickly since we have a little bit of time left.
Yeah, that is the most Xavier shit I've ever heard. Oh, since we've got plenty of time left, I'll go fucking 10 minutes over. Focus on the craft and respect the host, and then when you get the light, you only have a minute left.